SCP-2997 Object Class Safe. Description: SCP-2997 is an ornate urn constructed of smokery quartz, originating from Japan in the 16th century. It absorbs all forms of radiation coming into contact with it except for visible light. There are 2 Japanese inscriptions on SCP-2997 that read, "Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return," and "They believed." SCP-2997 is a pile of human ashes contained within SCP-2997. It constantly releases a varying amount of gamma radiation. The amount of radiation released at any given point has ranged from lethal to infinitesimal. SCP-2997-2 is a collective designation for a group of 2-dimensional figures that may be seen on any surface with a direct line of sight of SCP-2997. Instances of 2997-2 resemble nuclear shadows of human beings of variable age, gender, weight, height, etc. Instances of SCP-2997-2 can be seen performing many different actions, but the most common ones resemble praying at an altar, treating burns, conversing, or attending what resembles a Roman Catholic Mass. All attempts at communication with instances of SCP-2997-2 have been unsuccessful. SCP-2997 was found in the basement of the Church of St. Joseph in Omaha, Japan, where it was being used as a centerpiece in a shrine. The search was launched following multiple reports of an urn of souls in a church somewhere near Nagasaki, Japan. A squad from Mobile Task Force Chi-3 Exorcists was dispatched to ascertain the existence of and retrieve it. Upon arrival at the Church of St. Joseph, MTF Chi-3 was attacked by a member of the congregation who was praying at the shrine containing SCP-2997. He was successfully sedated and all witnesses were questioned about SCP-2997 before receiving amnestics. The head priest at the Church of St. Joseph produced a burned piece of parchment from a safe and claimed that he found it and SCP-2997 resting on a piece of the altar from the Urakami Cathedral under a small pile of rubble. The Urakami Cathedral was a Roman Catholic cathedral located 500 meters away from the epicenter of the nuclear explosion over Nagasaki. It was in mass at the time of the bombing and all inside were killed. A transcript of the document can be found in Addendum 2997-02. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2997 is to be stored in a high-value observation chamber. It is to be placed on a pedestal in the center of its chamber, and every surface is to have cameras installed as to monitor the activities of SCP-2997-2. In the event that SCP-2997's tracking chip exits Site-242, Mobile Task Force Lambda 37 Geiger counters is to be dispatched immediately in an effort to retrieve SCP-2997. MTF Chi-3 Exorcist Radio recording redacted. Data recovered. Administrator clearance accepted. Begin log.
Come on, radio check. Radio communication established. Exorcist 1 moving to breach. Ready. Breaching! Fan out, 3 units spread. Alright, visual on the item. Hey, we got a boy here. Sir, stand, turn around and put your hands on your head. Sir, stay where you are and put your hands on your head. Suspect approaching. He's armed. Knife! Target advancing. Come on, we have an armed civilian defending the item. What are the rules of engagement? Exorcist 1, non-lethal takedowns only. We want him for questioning. Restrain him. Exorcist 2, Exorcist 3, do not engage. Target advancing. Taser, sir, drop the weapon. Suspect down. Exorcist 2, restrain him. Exorcist 3, on me. See these shadows? I'm picking up a radiation spike, but it's not dangerous. Command, we're seeing manifestations of the item's properties. There is also a spike in radiation, but so far it is negligible. The civilian has been restrained. We're done here. Copy Exorcist 1. We're sending in a recovery team to assist in the extraction. Good work.
End log. Addendum 2997-01. On an instance of SCP-2997-2 resembling Canis lupus familiaris, was seen walking with 2 instances of SCP-2997-2 that resembled men carrying rifles. Addendum 2997-02. A transcript of the document recovered with SCP-2997. Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" Below the words are the seals of the archangels Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3108. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3108 is to be contained in a standard anomalous object containment vault at Site-60. SCP-64 and is not to be removed except for testing purposes. Proposed tests must be approved in advance by both Dr. Johnson and Dr. Dietz. SCP-3108-1 is not to be loaded into SCP-3108 except during testing and is to be stored in a separate containment unit. When conducting tests, SCP-3108 is to be handled by Site-64 security staff only. One officer is to hold and fire the object, while a second is to observe the proceedings to minimize risk of accident or foul play. Researchers in D-Class are forbidden from firing the object due to safety and security concerns respectively. Due to the accuracy of SCP-3108 being in line with similar products, a maximum 1 meter distance is to be maintained from the intended target to prevent accidents. Under no circumstance is SCP-3108 to be used in cross-testing with other SCP objects, following Ethics Committee ruling on April 5th, 2020. Testing on humanoids has been forbidden. Description: SCP-3108 is a heavily modified Nerf brand dart gun, which demonstrates anomalous transformative properties when paired with SCP-3108-1, a foam dart discovered loaded within SCP-3108 at time of recovery. SCP-3108 does not demonstrate these properties when firing Nerf darts other than SCP-3108, nor does SCP-3108-1 demonstrate these properties when fired from a different Nerf dart gun. The phrase, "OP please Nerf," is inscribed on the exterior of SCP-3108-1 in red ink. When SCP-3108 fires SCP-3108-1 into a target, said target will be instantaneously altered in such a way that the result is perceived as worse or inferior by the individual wielding the object. This transformation can range from minor alterations to complete molecular reconstruction. The law of conservation of mass does not affect transformations caused by SCP-3108, and noticeable increases or decreases in mass have occurred often in testing. The resulting objects or organisms do not show any evidence of anomalous traits. Transformations do not represent any objective value scale, but rather stem solely from the opinions of the current holder. The outer shell of SCP-3108 is composed of steel, with bronze inlays used as decoration. While not impervious to physical damage, disassembly of SCP-3108 has proven impossible due to its anomalous nature. All tools attempting to deconstruct the object will be transformed into broken or fake equivalents, precluding examination of the object's interior. This seeming behavior of self-preservation is the only time SCP-3108 has altered objects beyond those hit by SCP-3108-1. Recovery: SCP-3108's anomalous properties were discovered during a birthday party for a 10-year-old Jacob Pierce in Oregon. It is presumed that SCP-3108 was fired at a concrete wall, resulting in the concrete being replaced by loosely stacked stones. The wall promptly collapsed, causing minor injuries to 3 civilians. Foundation involvement came after the family sued the contractor of their home for the incident. The anomalous effect that caused the transformation was eventually traced to the gun following examination of the incident's location. During post-incident investigation, Jacob's brother, 19-year-old Nathan Pierce, was identified as a member of the GOI Gamers Against Weed. Pierce had previously been known to the Foundation under his online alias Hectagon and had been designated POI 6897 due to his creation of SCP and SCP. A subsequent attempt to detain the target failed, as POI 6897 had fled the area 2 days prior to identification as Nathan Pierce. Partial test log. Target: 1 dartboard made of sisal fibers. Result: dartboard composition was changed to cork. In addition, various small holes and what appears to be a beer stain appeared on the board. Target: an 8x11 sheet of printer paper. Result: paper changed composition to single-ply toilet paper. Target: one spare coffee mug from the Site-19 cafeteria. Result: coffee mug was replaced by a teacup composed of ceramic identical to the mugs. Target: $1 United States dollar. Result: $1 United States quarter. Notes: subsequent tests on dollar bills resulted in various outcomes, including dimes, nickels, pennies, foreign currencies, and fake bills from the board game Monopoly. There doesn't seem to be an exact formula for these changes. Dr. Diets. Target: 1 can of Coca-Cola. Result: 1 can of Pepsi-Cola. Notes: Mike, the security officer observing the test, expressed dismay at seeing the result. We had him fire the dart at the Pepsi can, and it changed right back into Coke. Dr. Diets. Target: 1 standard D-class uniform. Result: composition of uniform was changed entirely to cotton, and a tag reading "Made in China" was added at the neck. Notes: while that was hilarious, I think this test is on to something. Does the gun have a sense of humor? Dr. Johnson. Target: 1 VHS tape containing the 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Result: 1 DVD of the film's 2005 remake Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Target: 1 male Rattus norvegicus specimen. Result: 1 male specimen of Iridomyrmex purpureus. Notes: interesting logic on this one. What is the causal link between rats and ants? Dr. Diets. Target: 1 female golden retriever. Result: 1 female American shorthair with yellow hair. Specimen was unusually large, 15.4 kilograms, and continued to display behavior consistent with a golden retriever rather than a feline. Target: D4281, 28-year-old Caucasian male. Result: D4281 transformed into a living specimen of Homo neanderthalensis. Preface: to test the limits of the danger SCP-3108 could pose to a human being, Security Officer Gardner was instructed to reload and fire the gun repeatedly until ordered to cease. Target: D3578, 24-year-old Hispanic male. Result: initially displaying similar results to D4281, D35 too small to be accurately hit by SCP-3108-1. Notes: due to concerns from the Ethics Committee, as well as the possibility of accidental creation of a Homo ignotus specimen, testing of SCP-3108 on humanoids is suspended, effective immediately pending a hearing. Dr. Diets. Addendum: on July 19th, Foundation personnel apprehended POI 6897 at an internet cafe in Los Angeles, California. POI 6897 was then escorted to Site-64 for interrogation regarding his creations. Interrogation regarding SCP-3108 can be found below. Interviewed: POI 6897, Nathan Pierce. Subject displays low-level reality-altering capabilities common among anarchists and GAW members. Interviewer: Dr. Leo Diets. Playing log now.
Mr. Pierce, today I'm going to be asking you some questions about another of your creations. Specifically, the gun. Get fucked. Now, that isn't very helpful. Perhaps I should have Agent Green talk to you again instead. That isn't necessary. I'm sure he's a busy guy. We wouldn't want to bother him. Lol. Pierce, did you really just say the letters LOL out loud? I'm used to talking on the internet. Sue me, and it's Cactagon to you. So, what do you fascist cucks want to know? I'm not going to call you by your juvenile screen name. More importantly, why did you create the gun? Oh, the nerfing gun. Classic. Yeah, I thought it would be funny. That's all. Look, what do you want me to say? That it's a symbol of guns making the world worse or something? Not everything has some grand purpose, man. It's just something I thought of while smoking. I mean, come on. A Nerf gun that makes everything shitty. It's hilarious. I didn't even think of the obvious pun until later. Eventually, I got bored of it and gave it to my bro as a birthday gift. Probably should have warned him to be more careful, but live and learn. Am I right? You honestly expect me to believe that? Despite your group's supposed pacifism, the anomalies you all have produced can be lethal. This little joke of yours has changed steel into balsa wood and people into invertebrates. You clearly intended this as a weapon. You used it on people? Our testing history is not relevant to... It was supposed to be a joke. It was funny. I changed Mass Effect 2 into Mass Effect 3. My neighbor's SUV into a smart car. I didn't use it on people. You bastards. Why the hell would you do that? I'm not a murderer, damn it. Why? Why would you turn a joke into a torture device? Just get out of my cell. I'm done talking.
And that about does it for today. Thank you all for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye. I would like to give a special thank you to Desmond Hoskins, Andre Bichert, Dr. Mortis, Cody Tench, Pierce M. Hamlin, Psi-7 Actual, Rebellion Fidelius, and Tyver Ball. If you would like a personalized thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/TheVulcan. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-507. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-507 is allowed free roam of the facility, obviously barring anything that would breach security or safety protocols. Anytime SCP-507 leaves its private quarters, it must be accompanied by an agent, mostly at this point, to make sure that it does not shift without the facility's knowledge. SCP-507 should not be physically touched if there have been more than 2 weeks since its last.
They come for us. All of them.
Good. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-1472. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. A 3-meter-tall chain-link privacy fence is to be constructed around the property boundary of SCP-1472. Construction signage is to be placed on all sides of the perimeter fence as to deter public suspicion. Mobile Task Force Iota-6, also known as Hard Knocks, are tasked with protecting the site from trespassers and are to be stationed within a 4-block quadrant around SCP-1472 at all times, dressed in applicable urban attire. Any civilians that breach the fence are to be apprehended and be administered Class A amnestics before being released. Any testing involving D-Class resources must have Level 3 approval. All D-Class personnel involved with testing are to be interrogated via polygraph afterwards. Description: SCP-1472 is a brightly painted single-story brick building located in East St. Louis, Illinois, USA, on the corner of Street and Avenue. The exterior condition of the building is poor, but remains stable. City records indicate that the building was erected in 1978 by the now defunct corporation. SCP-1472 has been condemned since 2001, when SCP-1472's anomalous activity began. SCP-1472 has only one accessible entrance on the west side of the building. When entered during its inactive state, SCP-1472 appears completely empty. SCP-1472 only becomes active every Saturday at 2 a.m. During this active state, an overweight human male, SCP-1472-1, will exit from SCP-1472 and display signage out in front of the entrance. One display is set directly on the asphalt in front of the entrance, which lists a schedule of events. The other larger display is placed directly on the side of the building and lit with decorative neon lighting. Notes: SCP-1472 signage text on the 1st of December 2013. Exotic girls or equivalent. During the active period, SCP-1472-1 will insist that all persons seeking admittance pay a cover charge of $, and not engage in photography or video recording once inside. Shows will differ nightly, however, the performances always range from 2 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. During the duration of the performances, the entrance or exit will remain locked until the last show ends. Injuries and fatalities have occurred depending on the content of the show. Participants have been observed to sustain psychological trauma. Test log 1472-01-12-13-4. Preamble: 3 D-Class subjects were approved for testing on the 1st of December 2013. D-Class test subjects were transported to the site and told to wait in front of the entrance of SCP-1472. D-Class test subjects were told that they must take notes and report everything that they see inside. Below was a schedule of events as posted outside of SCP-1472 before testing. Schedule of shows: 2 to 2:10 Admittance, 2:10 to 2:15 The Kunbish Sisters, 2:15 to 2:20 Helen Keller, 2:20 to 2:30 The Fantastic Zippy and Trainer, 2:30 to 2:35 Teeth and Claw Marks, 2:35 to 2:40 Intermission, 2:40 to 2:41 Eroticperformance.exe, 2:41 to 2:45 The Council of Libidinous Elders, 2:45 to 3:20 Serial number 22324409P, 3:20 to 3:30 Indecipherable Cuneiform Script. D-Class ID: D3432, D6744, and D9908. 1:50 a.m. D-Class test subjects were dropped off by transport and were told to approach SCP-1472's entrance. Each were given $100 in $5 bills. D-Class test subjects are also encouraged to spend their money once inside. 1:55 a.m. SCP-1472-1 emerged from the entrance with signage. SCP-1472-1 began to set up around the entrance. D-Class test subjects and SCP-1472-1 did not interact with each other. 2 a.m. SCP-1472-1 allowed admittance into SCP-1472. SCP-1472-1 asked from each D-Class test subject $, as a cover charge. D-Class test subjects obliged and paid said cover charge in exchange for admission into SCP-1472. 2:03 a.m. All D-Class subjects were now inside SCP-1472. D-Class test subjects reported that the interior conditions were excellent. The interior was outfitted with shag carpeting, mirrored walls, a single disco ball which hung from the ceiling, a thick fabric curtain that covered most of the stage, and a single brass pole which extended from the ceiling down into the middle of the room. Comfortable seating arrangements were made available for a maximum occupancy of 30. 2:10 a.m. to 2:15 a.m. The Kunbish sisters. The curtain opened to reveal two naked women sitting on a wooden log. The women appeared to be twins of Asian descent. Both women then performed traditional Tuvan throat singing while massaging each other for the duration of the show. D-3432 and D-9908 deposited $10 on stage, which prompted the women to pause and begin a faster song. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:15 a.m. to 2:20 a.m. Helen Keller. The curtain opened to reveal a woman with the same physical appearance as Helen Keller in her mid-20s. The woman was dressed in typical Las Vegas showgirl attire and began to perform a dance routine on stage while undressing at the same time. D-3432, D-6744, and D-9908 each deposited $10 on stage. This prompted the woman to immediately interrupt her routine and recite poetry for a few seconds. D-6744 deposited another $5 on stage with the same results. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:20 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. The Fantastic Zippy and Trainer. The curtain opened to reveal an orangutan sitting on a metal stool next to a headless woman with advanced necrotizing fasciitis. Despite being headless, the woman was able to function normally. The orangutan then began to give vocal commands directed at the woman, to which she responded by performing a pole dancing routine. D-3432 deposited $5 on the floor next to the woman. The woman responded by pushing the $5 bill directly into her exposed trachea. The orangutan then ordered the woman back to the stage. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:30 a.m. to 2:35 a.m. Teeth and claw marks. The curtain opened to reveal 4 predatory bipedal reptiles. Based on the D-Class test subjects' descriptions, the reptiles may have belonged to the genus Velociraptor. Each were dressed in a Japanese-made cosplay costume tailored to fit them. The reptiles began to approach D-9908 off stage in an extremely aggressive manner. D-9908 relinquished all of his money, which seemed to appease the reptiles as they collected the money and shifted attention towards D-3432. D-3432 also relinquished all of his money, with the same results. Afterwards, all 4 reptiles were ordered back on stage by SCP-1472-1, and the curtain then closed. D-6744 divided the remainder of his money with the other D-Class test subjects. 2:35 a.m. to 2:40 a.m. Intermission. No events were reported during this time. 2:40 a.m. to 2:41 a.m. Eroticperformance.exe. The curtain opened to reveal a Gateway 2000 computer and a monitor running a Fenestra 98 operating system. The display booted up and opened a program on its desktop. The computer then began to rapidly recite a multitude of differential equations as well as their respective 3D graphical representations for 20 seconds. At the end of the program, the monitor displayed the word insert in the form of a screensaver. D-6744 and D-3432 both inserted $5 into its floppy drive. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:41 a.m. to 2:45 a.m. The Council of Libidinous Elders. The curtain opened to reveal 16 entities levitating above the stage. Each entity appeared as a translucent gelatinous mass filled with membranous tissues. The entities then began to project transmissions via telepathy into the minds of the D-Class test subjects. D-Class test subjects reported migraines, acute tinnitus, and projected thoughts of intense physical sensation. No money was deposited on the stage. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 2:45 a.m. to 3:20 a.m. Serial number 22324409P. The curtain opened to reveal a pair of mechanical humanoid legs running in place. The apparatus was being powered by an internal combustion generator situated on the left side of the stage. SCP-1472-1 was seen pouring a substance into the generator by funnel. Based on the D-Class test subjects' descriptions of appearance and odor, this substance is believed to possibly be raw ambergris. After 15 minutes, D-9908 deposited $5 on stage. The apparatus then began to perform a traditional Irish step dancing routine. SCP-1472-1 then brought out a plastic tray filled with an unknown species of beetle and placed the apparatus atop them. The apparatus continued to dance for the duration of the show, while SCP-1472-1 periodically replaced the trays with refilled ones. The aroma produced by the performance was reported to be overly pungent to the point of nausea. The curtain then closed at the end of the show. 3:20 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. Indecipherable cuneiform script. The curtain opened to reveal SCP-1093 wearing a small mawashi and holding an ornate stone blade. After a minute, SCP-1093 lunged at D-3432. After a brief altercation, SCP-1093 was able to render D-3432 unconscious and move his body towards the stage. Based on reports by the D-Class test subjects, SCP-1093 then began to perform a ritual human sacrifice. D-6744 attempted to rescue D-3432, but was halted by SCP-1472-1 and was warned that he was not allowed to touch the dancers. SCP-1093 then proceeded to remove all major organs from D-3432 in order of size before kicking them off stage. This lasted for the remainder of the show. Note: Foundation records confirm that SCP-1093 was secured in its containment unit during this time period, which suggests that this was a physically identical yet extremely violent instance of SCP-1093. It is also believed that during their performance, SCP-1093 was only producing roughly 4% of its normal radioactive emissions, since D-6744 and D-9908 survived with moderate radiation poisoning after the show ended. 3:32 a.m. SCP-1472-1 was observed standing outside, smoking a large cigar, as the surviving D-Class subjects staggered out of SCP-1472. D-6744 and D-9908 were apprehended and taken to the infirmary. SCP-1472-1 was then observed removing the signs and retreating back to SCP-1472. D-3432's remains were never recovered. Okay, I think that about does it for today. Thank you all for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye. I would like to give a special thank you
I am Biscuit. I am a good boy. But my dear human gave Biscuit a bad bed. Why would you give a good boy a bad bed?
We all make mistakes.
Maybe you do.
Listen, the pet bed world needed an intervention. So with the comfort scientists at Purple, I engineered the all-new Purple Pet Bed. The first and only pet bed to feature Purple's crazy comfy, super sciencey Purple technology. The core of our bed is made of our ultra-comfy, hyper-elastic polymer. The comfort core is then wrapped in an antimicrobial, waterproof, odor-proof protector. That means no bacteria, no smell. And our easy-to-remove, ultra-durable cover is also antimicrobial, as well as stain and moisture resistant. Also, you might notice your more fur-heavy friends prefer to sleep on the cool tile floor over their soft dog bed, kind of like how I prefer Chloe to Kim. That's why we engineered the Purple Pet Bed to be temperature neutral. Your little buddies can rest comfy, pant-free, meaning no panting. Has your pet ever utterly destroyed his or her bed? First off, maybe they're trying to tell you something. But also, pets love to scratch and chew. But nothing scratches and chews with more precision. Plug in the claw! Our way to test for durability. The Purple Pet Bed withstood over 60,000 claws from the
Item number SCP-151. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-151 should be kept in a locked storage compartment, covered by an opaque cloth. The keys to the compartment should be kept in the custody of the Site Commander when SCP-151 is not being researched. When research is being conducted, SCP-151 may be kept in a locked laboratory, provided it is always covered when not being used. Description: SCP-151 is a 1 meter by 1.3 meter, 3 foot by 4 foot oil painting, apparently from the perspective of someone underwater. A subject who views the painting exhibits no initial effects. However, over a period of 24 hours, the subject's breathing becomes increasingly labored, culminating in the death of the subject. Autopsies reveal that subject's lungs have filled with seawater. Attempts to halt the drowning process by medical intervention have proven successful in prolonging the life of the subject, but have not stopped nor reversed the condition. The painting is not signed, but several names are written on the back. Addendum: SCP-151 was found in an antique shop after the Foundation began investigating a series of unexplained drowning deaths. As is landlocked, the Foundation dispatched a team of plainclothes agents after being informed of the nature of the water in the victims' lungs, and that the victims had all been discovered on dry land. The agents discovered that the names written on the back belonged to a group of artistically inclined students, all of whom disappeared during a study abroad program in. Investigation into their fate is ongoing, and may provide clues as to the nature and origin of SCP-151.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-205. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2051 and SCP-2052 are contained within Chamber 52 at Site-23, under regular observation via the adjoining observation room. SCP-2051 and SCP-2052 are to be supplied with power and face the white projection screen on the wall opposite the observation window at all times. Chamber 52 requires monthly maintenance to ensure the continued operation of both SCP objects, their power supply, and remote activation controls. Replacement parts and bulbs are kept on hand in the chamber. Maintenance is suspended during the final month of the SCP-205 cycle, occurring in April and October of each year. Should power to Chamber 52 fail, it is to remain dark and sealed for a period of 30 days before local security enters to re-engage power for continued observation and containment. During maintenance, it is critical that only one of the SCP-205 pair is ever turned off at a time. Should both objects lose power or otherwise cease normal operation, the chamber must be sealed for a 30-day period before local security may enter to re-engage power and retrieve the remains of any personnel lost in the chamber. Pending O5 review, testing and observation is to continue